South American cuisine cannot be described in just a few words. The mixture of former colonizations and the many ethnic groups living here has developed a very diverse gastronomy. You can feel mainly Spanish, Portuguese, and Dutch influences, but due to the waves of immigration in recent decades, South American cuisine has been affected from all over the world. Of course, the continent's diverse climate and geographical characteristics also strongly influence the cuisine of each nation. So let's see what are the 10 foods you have to try while visiting South America. Ceviche. Ceviche is a dish made from fresh vegetables and fish and is a popular dish on the entire South American continent. What is special is that the fish fillets are not subjected to any cooking process. They are simply sprinkled with lemon, lime, or bitter orange juice. Citric acid transforms the protein structure in fish and it will be just as if the fish had been cooked. Amazing! That's why ceviche can only be made fresh and served immediately, as it doesn't last long. Much attention should be paid to the perfect quality of the fish and the hygienic conditions. Ceviche is usually consumed as an appetizer. When it comes to the table as a main course, avocados, sweet potatoes, cooking bananas, corn on the cob, or occasionally rice are most often served as side dishes. Traditionally, sea bass is used to make ceviche, but trout and tilapia are also common. However, in Ecuador, you can eat shrimp ceviche, which is often served in tomato sauce. Alternatively, you can try black clam, octopus, crab, or oyster variations. In Chile, the Patagonian toothfish fillet version is more common, marinated in grapefruit juice, sprinkled with a little chili, garlic, and coriander. In South America, June 28th is Ceviche Day, when chefs across the continent prepare special ceviche creations for the curious audience. LOCRO. LOCRO is a very thick, rich squash soup or stew that is loved by people along the Andes mountain ranges. Thus, it is particularly popular in Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, and Chile. The main ingredients, in addition to squash, are usually corn and some meat. Meat is most often some part of beef, but pork sausage is sometimes put into it. Of course, there are many regional variations of LOCRO, enriched with onions, beans, chickpeas, and often potatoes to make it even more substantial. In Ecuador, it is often made with lamb instead of beef, sometimes with intestines, and there is also a version that includes cheese and eggs. There are also many types of stew or soup within each country, called LOCRO. The number of variations is virtually endless. Usually, the seasonal ingredients that are just available affect what gets into this incredibly tasty and nourishing dish. Argentinian steak. Argentina is a paradise for meat lovers. A lot of people say they make the best steaks in the world here. They are certainly not mistaken, as Argentina has a strong tradition of making and consuming steak. The beef here is one of the best quality, thanks to the huge grasslands in the country with perfect weather and the careful work of the farmers. However, the perfect ingredient becomes a really fantastic dish when it gets into competent hands, and there is no shortage of these hands in Argentina. Using a special technique, they slice different parts of the beef and fry them in a unique way. They are usually cooked slowly on wood-fired grills, with the meat not placed directly over the flame but on the edge of the grill. This way the beef will be crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, and get a pleasantly smoky taste. It is traditionally served with chimichurri, also known as Argentine pesto. It includes parsley, garlic, olive oil, oregano, vinegar, and chili peppers. They do it differently in almost every household, but each variation fits perfectly with a succulent Argentine steak. Feijoada. Brazil's national dish is this hearty stew made from pork or beef and beans. It comes from Portugal, but in almost every country it's made according to a different recipe. In Brazil, it is made from black beans in a thick clay pot over low heat. It can also include pork ears or tails, bacon, smoked pork ribs, and smoked sausages. Different vegetables are added from region to region. In some areas, cooking bananas, potatoes, cabbage, carrots, or pumpkins are also cooked in feijoada. What they have in common is that they are served with rice, and a few slices of orange are added, which helps digestion after consuming this relatively heavy dish. In Brazil, consumption of feijoada usually falls on weekends when the family gathers. In calm conditions, in large company, they often share a large pot of feijoada with each other while watching football games, while talking for hours about the big things in life. CAZUELA de LLAMA. Andean people domesticated llamas thousands of years ago. At first, mainly because of their carrying capacity and their wool from which they made clothes. The high altitude provides llamas with particularly favorable places to live, and it is much more common to breed llama than cattle in this area. There are a lot of dishes made from llama meat in South America. One of the best known is CAZUELA de LLAMA. The word cazuela comes from the Spanish language and means the special flat pot in which the food is prepared. This traditional stew is typically made by combining llama meat with rice, carrots and colorful Andean potatoes called papas andinas. It should be cooked until all ingredients are soft and tender. Llama meat is one of the healthy meats because of its high protein content, which is accompanied by a low fat content. Its meat, with its characteristics, intense earthy taste, is popular in the Andes. Cazuela cooking has a long tradition in South America, and since countless versions are known, everyone claims that, of course, he prepares the most delicious one. Juane. Juane is one of the most popular dishes in Peruvian cuisine. During the feast of San Juan, the patron saint of the Amazon jungle, on June 24, Juane is widely consumed. It used to be food for travelers, as it can be stored for a long time and is easy to transport thanks to its packaging. Traditional juane is made from rice mixed with pieces of meat, olives, and boiled eggs. The mixture is then filled into bijao leaves, which looks like banana leaves. The bijao leaves are tied together and the whole small package is cooked. There are a lot of regional versions. In some parts of Peru, rice is mixed with cassava or beans, and fish can be included instead of various meats. In some places, nuts or corn are mixed into the rice, creating quite a special flavor combination. CHIVITO. CHIVITO sandwich is basically a gigantic beefsteak and egg sandwich and a national dish in Uruguay. They are sold on almost every street corner. Everywhere they are made a little differently. What they all have in common is tender beef steak slice, some cheese, usually mozzarella, mayonnaise, tomatoes, hard-boiled egg slices and bacon. All this is served as a sandwich in a bun. At some street food trucks, you can also try chivito that has slices of olives, cucumbers or roasted peppers inside. Each causes a completely different taste explosion in your mouth. It is a very nutritious and hearty dish, usually accompanied by a serving of crispy fries, but it's also worth trying with some salad to avoid overloading your stomach so much. The word chivito originally means young goat meat, although it does not contain goat meat. According to its story, an Argentine lady who traveled in Uruguay went to a restaurant where she ordered a chivito and waited for the usual goat meat sandwich. However, there was no goat meat on hand in the restaurant's kitchen, so the chef put a big slice of beefsteak into the sandwich and then packed it with all the delicacies so the lady wouldn't notice she wasn't eating goat meat. The sandwich was such a great success that it even started to be sold regularly and has conquered all of South America. Arepas. Arepa is a type of flat patty made from corn dough. It's mainly consumed in northern South America, Colombia and Venezuela, but is also found in Bolivia. Arepa is consumed daily by people in these countries with different fillings. The arepa dough can be cooked in many ways. It can be fried, grilled, but it can also be baked or steamed. The filling varies from region to region. The typical arepa is stuffed with a mixture of cheese, chicken, ham and avocado. The simplest arepas are stuffed with just butter and cheese, but it can also include beans, eggs, tomatoes, shrimp or fish. In Colombia alone, 75 varieties are registered, most of which you can taste at street vendors. Empanada. Empanadas are hand-sized stuffed little pasta bundles that are very common in Spanish-speaking areas, including much of South America. The word empanada itself means bread wrapped, and that describes the essence of this wonderful dish. Its dough is usually kneaded with animal fat until smooth, making it a very nutritious dish, even a few smaller pieces satisfying the stomach for hours. The traditional versions are made with minced beef filling, but it can be filled with practically anything, including a variety of meats, cheeses, vegetables, legumes, seafood, and rice. You can also find raisins and olives in more special versions. These fillings are piled on the dough, formed into shapes of empanadas, and then baked in an oven or fried in hot oil. It's basically made from wheat flour, but the corn flour version is widespread in some regions. They can also be varied in their shape, usually hiding different fillings with different folded empanadas. Alfajores. Alfajores is a type of biscuit originally from Spain, which is a well-known and popular sweet throughout South America. There are plenty of variations. They usually have in common that their dough is made from some oily seed, hazelnuts or almonds, breadcrumbs, and honey. Aniseed, cinnamon, cloves, or cilantro are the most common spices. In South America, 2 small round biscuits are made, which are filled with different sweet creams and stick together. The most popular is the dulce de leche filling, which is a thick caramel cream. There are local variations that are sprinkled with powdered sugar, chocolate, or coconut shavings. Most alfajores in the world are consumed in Argentina, where they are a daily snack for both children and adults. In 2010, the country's first national alfajor festival was celebrated in Uruguay. On this occasion, more than 30 people worked to create the world's largest alfajores. The nearly 2-meter wide, 464-kilogram gigantic alfajores was mentioned in Guinness World Records.